Hi everyone, welcome to week 52 of a grid design every week. This is our final week. We've done a whole year of beautiful grid designs, and thank you for joining me during this year. I hope you've learned a lot of grid designs that you can use in your quilts. A lot of you have sent many thanks, and I'm glad you're following my YouTube tutorials. And I just want to remind you again, before we say goodbye, remember my book, the Grid Design Workbook. It's got all of the grids you've learned plus some more. Well, not all the YouTube. The ones that are in the book you've learned probably during this segment, but the book tells you all kinds of tips and tricks to make them more successful, plus how to mark your quilts, all kinds of information. So this is kind of a good primer for our weekly YouTube tutorial. So I hope you'll check that out at quintessentialquilting.com. If you order it from me, I'll sign it for you. If you get it from Amazon or AQS, I wouldn't be able to sign it, but I would be happy if you bought it anyway. So I hope you'll check that out. And don't forget, I have a couple of teaching DVDs. I've got my 30 tips and tricks for better machine quilting. This is just things that I've learned over 25 years of domestic machine quilting that have helped me have more successful quilts. And I don't know if you know, but I do compete nationally and internationally, and I've won lots of big awards. So these are some things that come directly from me, things that I've experienced that will help you. And even if you're a long armor or a hand quilter, there are things in this DVD that can help you with that. So check that out. This is my Successful Machine Quilting Basic and Beyond iQuilt DVD. This is a beginning machine quilting class, but it goes into all kinds of stuff. This has so much information. So even if you've taken one or many beginning machine quilting classes, I guarantee you're going to learn new things in here. And the most important is how to handle large quilts on your home sewing machine. So that's available through me on my website or AQS or iQuilt. Also, my machine quilted stocking class. This is just a bunch of fun filler designs, and we make a really cute holiday stocking with that. So check those out. And if you want to thank me for these YouTube tutorials, just recommend my website and my DVDs and book to a friend. Maybe they'll get hooked to a grid design. So today we're going to do the grand finale. It's called Ginkgo Clamshells. So remember, we've done a clamshell design periodically throughout this series. Well, this is an exceptionally beautiful one that looks like ginkgo leaves. So come on over to the machine and we will get started. Let me turn that light on. Oops. All right. So we've done our base clamshell grid. You can see I've done it bigger. I do this a lot of times on a 1/2 inch grid, and then you get 1 inch clamshells, but I wanted you to be able to see this one more easily, so I did a 1 inch horizontal vertical grid, and so now we have 2 inch clamshells. So remember, our clamshells are always twice as big as our grid. So what you'll notice is I've done the clamshells. I want to point something out here. When you're quilting your clamshells for this base grid, it's really important that the tip of your clamshells hit that intersection, because this line that's coming down, we're going to end up using that. And if you can see up here, see how I kind of missed that, and my little straight line missed the point of the clamshell. That's not going to be a big deal, but if you get off any more than that, it could show up a lot and make your design not quite as pretty. So just be really careful about doing your base grid. All right, so what we're going to do, so this one, we want to always quilt up the clamshell. So I went ahead and stitched this line down here so that we can quilt upward. But normally we would just start here and come down to the bottom. So like when we get to the next row, we'll stitch down there and here. These clamshells, instead of going left to right, right to left like we normally do, we quilt them in vertical columns. So this is where we're going to get started. Alright, so we're going to, remember we have a partial clamshell down here, so I have to kind of make it look like it's going off the edge, but you will see, and I'm not going to quilt that end row because it's a partial row, but you will come back and do that later. So we're going to do a series of arches in here to fill in these clamshells. And these little arches or arcs are going to look like ginkgo leaves. So you see when you get out to that initial clamshell line, you have to travel on it. And you want to be careful when you travel. And I am using thread that you can see better. This will look good in a softly matching thread or contrasting depending on how confident you are. So when you get to the middle, we need to get back down and fill in this side. So we're going to travel down that main line. And I'm going to go out here. Now the number of little arches you do is going to be entirely up to you. I would just say fill it in to the point where you're happy with the way it looks. Alright, so up the middle line, we're going to start our next full clamshell. Alright, so here's where you'll be able to see. So we can go up here. So when you get to the middle, we need to get down to the bottom again. So we're going to travel down that line. This is one that if you take your time, it's going to really pay off huge dividends. You want to take your time on this and make it as accurate and as pretty as you can. Because this is a very structured design, but it's extremely beautiful. Okay, so now we're at the top and we just have a little partial clamshell, so we'll fill it in as if it's the bottom half of one. Alright, so now where do we go? We're going to travel over to this line and come down. Alright, I'm going to use my little ruler even though I don't have my ruler foot on. I'm just going to be careful. I don't like doing this kind of work with the ruler foot because I can't see well enough. You've seen me use this open toe foot quite often on our grid designs, and that's probably my favorite one, especially for clamshells, because you always need to see that point so well. But I'm just going to be careful, not hop up on that ruler, just sort of gently right up next to it. You don't want to use a regular foot like this for all your ruler work because the foot can go under the ruler and you can break your needle. But I'm being real careful. Just want to get a nice straight line. Okay, so here we are at the bottom. We're going to get started again. This is one of the designs where using silk thread is going to be really important to success, because when you're traveling, along that previous line of stitching and down the middle here, anything heavier than a very fine thread is going to look just too heavy and clunky and not pretty. It's going to look ugly. Yeah, to put it in plain and simple words. Traveling with heavier thread shows all our boo-boos. So see, traveling here with the silk, it doesn't look bad, even though I'm not doing an exactly perfect job. Just doing the best I can. So you can see how beautiful these Ginkgo Clamshells are looking. Okay. So if you were doing this on a 1/2-inch grid, obviously you would have a smaller area to work in and fewer of these filler lines. But you just do the appropriate number that you feel looks good for your quilt. All right, let's travel over here and get down to the bottom again. Again, I'll use my little ruler. I could just quilt down there, but it's so much more accurate with a ruler. My beginning machine quilting students learn very quickly in my class that it's a lot easier to quilt curved lines, free motion, than straight lines. Okay, we're at the bottom. So what I want to show you here is, it's going to be kind of hard on this partial one, but our first arch, we want it to meet up with the arch over there. And that's going to give us a nice symmetrical look. See how those two kind of come together? That's what you want to strive for. You'll be able to see what I mean on our next clamshell a lot better. Alright, so here we go. We're going to get started. What I mean by that, meeting up with that first arch, do you see how I met that one there? They're pretty close. They're not identical, but that's going to give us a neat secondary design. It makes this look more structured. This looks like Art Deco, an Art Deco design. Okay, we're at the top. Remember, we've got just our little partial clamshell. I think I'm just going to finish this off. And we'll pull it out and have a look at the back. I think I've given you guys enough of a demonstration so that you can all do this one. Alright, let's look at that. So you can see how beautiful these Ginkgo clamshells are. It's one of my favorite designs. I'll show you a variation on it in a minute. Let's pull that out and look at the back. And there it is, beautiful gold thread on black fabric. Very pretty. So that is our grand finale. Let me show you a variation of that. It's called Twisted Ginkgos, and Twisted Ginkgos is in my book. So here you see the Ginkgo clamshells, but they're in a twisted orientation, and it's just beautiful. This is the cover quilt for my book here. Let me show you another sample. Ready? Okay. So this is a show quilt. You may have seen it around. It's been around for a couple years. It's called A Splendid Display. I can't show you the whole thing, but it's on my website if you want to see the quilt. It's won a lot of awards. But you can see here I used blue thread on black fabric in the background and behind this design. And these are called Twisted Ginkgos. So those are in my book. It's the last chapter of the book. This is my all-time favorite quilting design. It is just the most beautiful thing ever. And it takes a little while, but the results are worth it. So if you want to learn that one, you got to get the book. So hopefully you'll check that out. Twisted Ginkgos. All right, that is our final tutorial of the year. So thank you again for joining me all these weeks. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed teaching you and also learning a bunch of new grid-based quilting designs myself. So until we see each other again, take care and have fun quilting. And I'll see you around. Thanks. Bye.